time for another story. Hey, story time with Vanessa. I'm gonna share my drama. This is a story that starts at the beginning of junior year, and me and him are friends today, so I'm gonna share with you guys just the whole roller coaster of emotions that went on with this boy. If you watched my last video, you're probably thinking, but I thought there was another boy your junior year. Me and that boy had nothing that junior year. If you watch the video, you'll know that. Me and him were just like acquaintances. The boy from the other video, we were just acquaintances. Like, we weren't even friends, we knew each other and we followed each other on Twitter. Like, nothing happened junior year. And nothing happened because this other boy was in my life. So let's start with the story. So day one, first day of junior year, I went into botany and zoology and I scoped the room, like, where do I want to sit? Because the teacher's like, sit wherever you want. And I was like, awesome, yeah. Later to find out we had seating chart the next day. So I sat down, like at this random table, and I was just scoping the room and I was like, like I locked my eyes on this one person and I was like, who is that? Bruh, like girls, boys, whoever's watching this video, like, I thought he was gorgeous. Like, he was like light caramel skin, perfect smile, just beautiful face. Like, I just thought he was gorgeous. And I texted Sabrina, I was like, bruh, this boy in my class right now. And she's like, what's his name? And I didn't know his name, and I was like, I don't know. And I was gonna like be like creepy and be like send pictures like, but I couldn't because he was all the way on the on the other end of the classroom. And I was just like in shock of his beauty. I thought he was gorgeous. And that was pretty much it for that day. And I told all my friends about him like throughout the day. I was like, bruh, I saw this boy in class. And yeah. Fast forwarding to the next day, we had seating chart, and who did I have to sit next to? Him. I got lucky. I was like, yes, 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 I get to sit next to this boy. And he introduced himself to me. I introduced myself to him. He was like nice, but he was kind of like awkward. And I later found out that he was high that day. Yeah, this boy smokes. I found out he was high that day, so I was like, bruh. He didn't tell me that until like months later. He's like, yeah, man, I was like high that day we met. And I was like, okay, cool. But this boy, like, he was kind of a bad influence. He was like, I smoke weed multiple times a day. I'm constantly talking about sex and just all this different stuff. So it was like that bad boy, but like, you know, sometimes you're just like, I want that bad boy. And that was my situation. And then these other two guys came and sat, and I was like, hey guys, and we all became a pretty tight group. It was a pretty good year because I got to sit next to them. And the teacher always would move people around the classroom, but they never moved us because we were like pretty cool together. And she's like, I'm not gonna move you guys. So that was awesome. Fast forwarding, I started liking him, and I told Sabrina and I told all my other friends. Janessa ended up liking him, but Janessa actually made a move, and like, she didn't make the move and be like, I want to date you, but she told him that he liked her, or that she liked him, and she was like being like freaking, she always does this, she always overdoes it when she likes a guy, and she ended up annoying him. And still today he thinks she's annoying. We're all still like cool with each other, but he thinks she's freaking annoying, and whenever we hang out, he won't hang out if she's there. So yeah. Anyways, so I ended up following him on Twitter one day, and I DM'd him. I was like, hey, yo, partner in class, because we were always like partners. And he's like, hey, what up? And I was like, you should text me. And he was like, definitely. And we ended up having English together as well that year, because I had to switch in there from my other English class. I was taking honors, and I was like, I can't take this anymore because it was too much, and I already had another honors class that I couldn't balance. So I switched, and I ended up in his class, and I sat right next to him again because I was like, hey, what up? And we just were like pretty good friends at that time. I would go to his house to get homework help because he was really good at math and I needed help a lot. So he would help me after school. We would chill after school. Like, everything was just like normal between us. And then second semester of junior year, of course Sabrina already knew I liked him, and Sabrina had a class with him, and one day she texted me like, bruh, he likes you. And I was like, huh? And she told me that he told her that he liked me and he was gonna ask me out. And I was like, me? This peasant? He likes me? And I remember he told me I was pretty before and all that stuff. But I was like, yes, yes, this is gonna be perfect. Yes, we're going to be the cute couple, even though I'm a peasant. And And I was freaking excited, and then we had a fight. And this happened so many times between me and him. Like, that's why I said, like, me and him had like a roller coaster of emotions, because like we fought, and when we fought it was bad. It wasn't like fist fighting, but it was like verbal, and it was bad, and we didn't lose contact because we still had class with each other, but we didn't like each other for a while. And then of course we regained friendship like 2 weeks later. And yeah, like we used to like send pictures to each other, even though we sat right next to each other in class. We would send like ugly pictures to each other, and we would send like pictures of like obese people with like their rolls hanging out and like just nasty stuff to each other. And it was funny, and we got in trouble because the teacher would be like, "What are you guys doing back there? Stop laughing." And we'd be like, "Sorry." My mom keeps calling me downstairs like, "No, I know we got food, but I want to make this video." And I knew he liked me, so I remember it was like during the summer, he was going to California, and I was like, no, we can't hang out. And he's like, "Don't worry, we'll hang out when I get back." And I was like, "I'm not worried, but okay." So towards the end of the semester, he was taking this trip to California, and I remember he asked me before he went, "What's your favorite color?" And I was like, "Blue." And I was like, "Okay." And I was like, "See you when you get back." And he's like, "Yo, bye." And when he came back, he brought me a bracelet and a necklace, and I was like, and I told all my friends, they're like, "Oh, like we already all know he likes you, but aw." And I still have the bracelet and the necklace today. And I remember I told him like 2 months ago, I was like, "Bruh, I still have that bracelet and necklace." And he's like, "Ah," and he put like that like blushing face, like when we were texting. He's like, "Bruh." But it was like weird because like at one point we liked each other and we were about to date, and then like, okay, let me continue. And he brought that to me, and I was like, yes, I know it's real. And we were cool and all, and he said he was gonna ask me out, but here's the thing, he never freaking did. And then we ended up fighting again before senior year, and we didn't talk for 2 months at this time. And during these 2 months is when that other boy came in my life. And that's when that other boy came in my life, because like after this last fight, we hated each other. Like we were hateful towards each other. And then through the first semester of senior year, you need to watch my other video to know how this ties in. During the first semester, I started talking to this other boy. It was not for rebound, it was just because I started liking this other boy. And me, when I don't like you, bye. I lost feelings in 2 seconds with this boy. And then I started liking this other one, which is kind of bad, but whatever, it happened. And then when me and that other boy lost contact, or stopped liking each other for like a month, like I stated in the other story, I was like, okay, now there's nothing to talk to or nothing to do. And I went and I was creeping on the boy from this story, my best friend from the story, him. I saw that he got a girlfriend, and I was like, no. Even though I didn't like him, I was like, no. And I would continue like every day, like my path to get to my government class, or not my government, my psychology class, I would see them like in the hallway kissing and stuff, and I was like, ugh, this is a replay, as if with the other girl from junior year. And yeah. And then I still had and then I started again with this other boy, and I didn't even like worry about the boy from this story, because I was like, whatever, I have this other dude. And I was like, whatever, like I didn't care that he had a girlfriend now, but I was just like, eh. Like there's still that like tiny little ounce of saltiness from like previous stuff, I guess. And of course I started my stuff with the other boy, and I forgot about this one. Then the summer that just passed, he texted me out of the blue and said, "I just want to apologize for everything I've ever said to you. I want to become friends again. I want to start up again, blah blah blah." And I was like, it's okay, blah blah blah, because when me and him fought the last time, it was really bad. We both said some pretty hurtful stuff, so we were apologizing to each other. We ended up hanging out like that same week, and we were fine again, we were cool. And then one day I went over, and we were just gonna chill. We were just gonna be normal and just chill, and he kissed me, and this was after the other boy, because like the last boy from the other story, I told you guys, like that other boy put me through a roller coaster of freaking heartbreak, and like I cut that other boy off in like May, and I threw him in the trash, and it was done with. And and then the guy from this story came back, around July. So it was like months after and I was fine. I recovered from the last one. And we were just friends and I told him everything about this other guy and he was like, he's a butthole, he shouldn't have done that to you, blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, and then that was before he kissed me, but he ended up kissing me and I was like, what? And he told me like he liked me and all this stuff, and it was like freaking bad because we started hanging out even more after that. And then I told him, I was like, okay, I already told you the situation with the last guy. It was like a we never made it official kind of thing. Like I'm not gonna have a repeat of that. I'm not about to have we kiss and stuff and we're not dating. And then he told me, I don't want to have a girlfriend. And I was like, bruh, then why are you doing this? He's like, I like you, but I don't want a girlfriend. Like, and I was like, what, you trying to do some kind of friends with benefits thing? I know what you did with that other girl. And he's like, can we? And I was like, no. And then I stopped talking to him for like a few weeks after that because it kind of hurt my feelings. I was like, bruh, is that all I'm worth? Friends with benefits? Like, just like this last guy, he never made it official. So like, am I like the person who's not worth dating or something? And it made me really sad and stuff like that because I was like, really, like this last guy didn't want to make it official and this one doesn't either. Like, am I not cuff worthy? Like, does nobody want to cuff me up? And I was like, whatever, fine, forget you then. And yeah, and then we ended up talking again as friends somehow because like we were good friends before that, and we both didn't want our relationship to just be like cut off because of this little tiny situation. So we threw it away. We didn't even care anymore. And me and him are like best friends today. So it's like really weird. I like sharing these stories with you guys because it's probably not as interesting as the last one and it's probably kind of confusing, but I don't know. I just thought I would share with you guys, and yeah. So that's pretty much it for this story. Let me know your thoughts below. Do you have that friend who you started liking and then you stopped liking, then you almost dated, then you did it, and now you're just best friends? That's my situation. So yeah, I think he texted me too, so I'm gonna reply to him, and I'm also gonna go and eat because my parents keep going, Vanessa, come and eat food before it gets cold. Like, no, it's not gonna get cold in 3 minutes. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye!